Welcome to Bass Habits episode number 68. Today we're going to talk about Eric Avery, original bass player of Jane's Addiction. A pioneer of alternative metal, Jane's Addiction is credited for the mainstream exposure of the alternative music scene in the 1990s. The first two records, Nothing Shocking and Ritual de lo Habitual, were released to widespread critical acclaim. The band lasted only a few years before imploding and disbanding in 1991. Though they would reunite and release two more albums over the last 2 decades, their early work is normally considered the most meaningful and what best defines what singer Perry Farrell dubbed the Alternative Nation. As you can already tell, we're talking about a band that's very bass-driven. With his thick P-bass tone and his aggressive pick playing, bassist Eric Avery is not just the key ingredient that brings the funky element into the music of Jane's Addiction, but he's also behind the writing of some of the band's most iconic early songs. So let's have a look at the main aspects of his style. Number 1. Ghost Notes. Since day one, Jane's Addiction had pretty distinct rhythm patterns, characterized by very syncopated and busy drum parts, provided by drummer Stephen Perkins. With that type of drumming, it kind of feels natural to follow up with very rhythmic bass lines, and Eric's parts are packed with ghost notes. Though you don't really hear them in the records, which by the way is the reason why they're called ghost notes, they definitely add to the rhythmic overall feeling of the tracks, creating a powerful rhythm section for singer Perry Farrell and guitar player Dave Navarro to lay the melodies on. Number 2. Use the second. Good old pentatonic scale is once again the cornerstone of many of Jane's Addiction bass lines. But in many occasions, Avery throws also the major second into the mix, adding a feeling of suspension. It's just a passing note, but the way Eric plays it with a strong accent, it makes the whole thing sound not so pentatonic. To the contrary, the bass adds the vibe of a suspended chord to the part, which really wants to resolve en route. Number 3. 10th chords. What is a 10th chord? It's a chord made with the root and its major or minor 10, which is just the third, but played 1 octave higher so you can hear it clearly. 10th chords are not very used on guitar, but they work great on bass because they have the root note bringing in the low ends and the high note defining the major or minor harmonic quality. Summertime Rolls is the best example. Avery creates a simple yet melodic arpeggio that carries on the whole song. A Wood For You is another brilliant example. The whole song is built exclusively on the bass, using 10th chords, and the vocals. If you want to see other examples of a brilliant use of 10th chords, check out the videos I made about Flea and Andy Rourke. Links at the end of the video. Number 4. Octaves and open strings. One of the main things about Jane's Addiction is that they have no rhythm guitar, so there's a lot of space for the bass. On Up the Beach, Eric creates a cool arpeggio using the open D and its higher octave. use of the open string is mandatory if you want to have the bright, clicky P bass tone. 3 Days is built on a similar pattern with the addition of a little hammer-on that makes the whole thing sound even more like a rhythm guitar.
We miss you, my dear Ziola.
Number 5. The Avery box. Every bass player has a specific box or pattern on the fretboard that he uses to construct the bulk of his lines. For Eric Avery, the box of choice is built with the root, second below, minor third, and lower octave, as seen on Mountain Song. Deeply inspired by Peter Hook of Joy Division, Eric Avery balanced Dave Navarro's glam metal inclinations, serving as a rhythmic anchor and a harmonic counterpart with his clicky but smooth P bass tone. And from a visual standpoint, stomping around, wearing the bass real low, young, tan, surfer dude, he is the prototype of the 90s funk metal bass player and played a key role in the rise of Jane's Addiction. That's it for today. Please don't forget to subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and if you want to support this channel even further, you can send a super thanks or buy a t-shirt to help me keep it going. Thank you so much for watching.